So today's price action really didn't offer me any entries in the market. If we look at this 4 hour chart here, what these highs represent, and the ones I'm talking about is this one here and this one here. And now if we go over to this one here, that is the previous week high. And as you can see on the NASDAQ, we've swept the high. On E-mini, on the E-mini S&P futures, we've swept the high. And on the Dow, we have yet to sweep the high. So there's divergence currently between previous week high from last week. So the fact that we are above there has the potential for a sell-off in the market. However, we haven't got an official sell-off happening in the market because overall structure at this moment in time is bullish. And this fair value gap right here is what's holding all of that move. And this level right here, this low that you can see here, and this low right here that you can see, and again, the same lows which are all here, that is Monday's current low. So there is currently a cracking correlation between today's current low, which was created in the London session, and yesterday's previous day low. So there is divergence basically on both sides of the market. Now, what it means when you see divergence on both sides of the market, it's basically telling us price action is not as fruitful as we would like it to be. Now, my current bias overall based on this is bullish coming out of this fair value gap, and these wicks are confirming the liquidity sweep because the bodies are actually being respected right here, as you can see. And it is creating a lot of resting liquidity. However, I still feel like whilst these bodies are respecting bullish price action, the wicks are the ones which are basically doing the damage. So if we go down to a smaller time frame, we are now in a bit of limbo because as much as we're bullish on the 4 hour, we are in a bearish state coming out of this bearish fair value gap on the 1 hour chart. Now, these lines right here was for my intraday trading attempts today. And what you should be able to see, again, if we look at the 4 hour chart, I'm trying to trade this 4 hour chart right here. And this low right here, let me just I don't need that one for now. This low right here is the previous 4 hour low. This low, high up here is the previous 4 hour high. Today's trading, which is after the 10 a.m. open, is not giving us a sweep of the 4 hour high or low. If I bring it back and go down to a 1 hour, once again, that was the volatility we had inside the 1 hour. So again, this new 1 hour candle, which we're now coming to the end of, we've got about just under 5 minutes to go, has just been ranging either side of the high or the low. That is low probability price action at its finest. So coupled with the fact that we're ranging inside this area, this range right here that you can actually see, this is Asian session range. That is basically telling us that the next day is not going to be ideal for trading because this already had a huge amount of volatility whilst a lot of us were asleep. So with that being said, we then came back down in the second part of the Asian session, coming into London session. And when the London session opened, round about here, this was kind of like your London session open. This was all the volatility we had. So we created that manipulation, and now the New York session, all that we've kind of done is sweep a little bit lower and then push higher, but we're basically working inside the range of this level right here. So not a lot has really gone on for me. Now, I was potentially looking, because we're price is now in a premium, I was considering, because the 4 hour was swept on S&P and the 4 hour was also swept on the Dow, I was considering a move lower because we're in premium. So the idea was basically that I was going to try and catch high to low, and I was basically utilizing the fact that because S&P is already swept above, if we that would be divergence in the market. So what I was essentially looking for was some form of break lower. And again, you can see here, this is just really choppy, really ugly price action. The only thing I really wanted was to see if we could inverse this area here. Now, it's actually playing out as a potential trade opportunity. It's not one I'm going to take just because it's out of my trading hours, but there is definitely potential because you can see we've currently got divergence. That's the 4 hour high. That's the new high. And that's the area there that's kind of creating that divergence in price. So I do feel like this can come lower into some kind of a discount level. And basically the area I am looking to try and move this into is, and this is just the way, this is a high risk sort of setup, but the most simple way of trying to describe it is that if price action creates a high like this, then I'm just trying to trade this from the premium area, which would be right here, and I'm trying to trade that down to the discount area right here. So the idea is that I only want to be part of this move here. As long as it gets to 50%, I only want a little bit of the move. But because price action is just kind of all over the show with these wicks and all these bodies, and it's just been a rangy type market, I think the best thing today to do at the moment is just to stay out of the market. I'm not particularly interested in it. Again, when we look at price action today, we didn't have any high impact news events. Tomorrow we've got CPI. And then coming into Thursday, we've got more normality in the markets. What I'm actually hoping for is that from a higher time frame perspective, we do get some sort of range created, or at least some sort of move to tell us if it is going to go higher or lower. If we have created high of the week on Tuesday, then great. Maybe tomorrow will be a continuation trade. If we do continue out of here, what I do know is that basically CPI should create a really strong move, sweeping all this liquidity. And then maybe Thursday, we can participate in the markets within some sort of area of inefficient price action or something like that. So no trade for me today. I'm going to make a regular habit of trying to update any positions I actually take within the market just to see if anything kind of plays out. And I will keep you updated on the next trading day. But hopefully you guys got some value from this. Otherwise, I will speak to you all very, very soon.